So welcome to the Business Spotlight series, which is where we're talking to local businesses and exploring the lessons that they've learned over the years, the challenges that they've overcome, and the opportunities that they've seized. Today on the show, we welcome Cathy Cornish from Wild to Wonderful Gardens. Cathy, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, David? You well?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very
good.
Listen, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to talk about your business journey. It'd be great if you can kick us off, really just giving us a sort of an idea about what it is that you guys do and what you're all about and what sort of products and services you offer.
Okay, so we're a garden design landscaping company. We've been going 20 years, started off with me just doing designs, and now my husband works in partnership with me, and we have teams of landscapers that basically build the things I dream up. And we have a lovely team of gardening ladies who help me with the planting and the training people on how to look after their gardens. So we sort of go right from beginning to end, from ideas right the way through. And there's about 12 of us now, based in South Oxfordshire. So
what do? You sort of go into somebody's home and go through the ideas that they've got, build a plan, and then take it from what it is today through to...
Yes, essentially, blank. We also have a blank piece of paper. Sometimes it's a blank canvas. Sometimes they're new builds without even new lawn. Other times there's more mature gardens that people have taken on or don't know how to look after, or their circumstances have changed. So they now need something that's lower maintenance. People generally need that because people don't have as much time as they used to have. So it's a really interesting. No two gardens are the same. No two people are the same. And I go in there to try and understand what they're looking for, what their problems are, and how we can help them solve it, and the sort of practicalities of turning it into reality later on. So
it makes a big difference, doesn't it, the garden and what that's like in somebody's home, and how it can change how you feel about the place that you live in and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. It does make a huge amount of difference. And we get some lovely words from people who sometimes the jobs aren't that big, but it's just somebody coming in with a fresh pair of eyes that just says, look, if you just did that and changed that and added this in, it would make a huge amount of difference. And sometimes they're amazed at what a difference it's made, just to the fact they can get out in the outside world, outside air. I'm a great believer in getting outside. It's so good for you, and encouraging wildlife into the garden and all those kind of things that we can add into.
We got 3 boys, so we've got sort of football goals, trampoline, trodden lawn with muddy patches.
We sometimes chat to people with children and they go, oh, there's a trampoline in the corner, and how am I going to work around that? And you say, well, actually, let's think long term as well. Let's think, at the moment it's the child friendly garden, but actually as they grow older, things will change. So it's great to have sort of plans ahead. So it's all good.
So you've been going for 20 years or so. What got you started? Because is this your first business, or are you in business before?
I was employed before. I had a background in marketing, worked for various companies. I guess it was buying a first house, I think, and the garden involved there, that sort of triggered it. I went on an evening class of how to design the garden, and I remember saying, oh, it's a shame I can't do this as a job. And one of my sister-in-law said, why not? I thought, it's a good question. So I went and trained for a few years and then decided to take the leap. So it is my first time running a business. And you suddenly find yourself, the step from employment into self-employment is quite shocking, as most people who have done it who will know. But you suddenly find, oh, the computer breaks down, who do you ask? Or you suddenly realise you have to know everything. It's not just, oh, I know how to design a garden, but there's all these other bits involved in business as well. So, but it was, I think I always wanted to work for myself. I think I wanted to have my own ethos and treat people how I wanted to be treated, make a difference.
There's a lot of that with business owners. They want to do things with a sense of freedom to be able to sort of do things the way they want to do them and live by their own standards.
I think so. And I wasn't great at the whole corporate office politics, to be fair.
Most entrepreneurs aren't, to be fair.
No, but I mean, it just wasn't for me. And I would sit next to a window that was didn't open and look out at the sunshine and say, I need to be out. I need to be doing something different. So I think there's a lot of just things I wanted to do and how I wanted to help people. It's very different helping people in their homes to a corporate life. So.
You clearly got something working well, because 20 years on, still in business, still smiling, still in
yeah, it's a bit shocking when you add it up and you think, really? Have I been doing it that long? I'm that old? But But yes, it's.
What would you say have been the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome, particularly as a business owner?
I think initially, when I was on my own, it was very much it was seen as a luxury.
Okay.
So there was very much that's one of the first things to go, is something like the kind of business I had when it was just me. Just very different. Now the biggest challenge, I guess, is how we grow our business it's a very different business now. We have our own employees. We build things. We don't just, it's not just me and some subcontractors anymore like it was.
Yeah.
It is, I guess, changing the kind of business we are into something that was smaller, into something that's a lot more involved, but also keeping that personal touch. I guess I think we've done it. We try to do it. We try to be really friendly, and it's just making sure that customers still feel looked after, but still making sure that the employees are looked after as well at the same time. So it's
a lot of responsibility there, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't think I really appreciated that, how little I had to worry about it at the very beginning. But it's also very rewarding because you can see the difference you're making. We try and promote our guys from within and try and encourage them and help them grow, and that's really rewarding as well. So growing
team, we'll talk about maybe team in a second, but it's really important to grow.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it? Yeah, it's we got some great guys and girls on the team. So, and then how you grow that as well is it's what makes your business, isn't it? It's what makes people come into contact with them. So all the customers love them. So
if you had the opportunity to sort of wind the clock back and go back over the years and sort of think, well, I'll do some things differently, what sort of things, if you would do anything differently, what sort of things would you do differently?
I think the biggest mistakes I made was not following my instinct. Okay. So occasionally I would go and see a customer, and I think now I'm a bit more tuned in, but sometimes they're not the right people for you for whatever reason, but you choose to go ahead with something because you think you have to. And you can't click with everybody. People want different things to what you can offer. And I know the times I've come a little bit unstuck, but it's worried me a lot more, and it's not been as smooth, is when I haven't listened to the little alarm bells in the background. So I think if I've learned anything, it's to trust my instinct. And I think I'd probably be a lot more savvy about costs and financial figures, if I'm truthful. If I was doing it again now, I'd probably get a little bit more number crunching in my head than I do, or I did at the beginning. I was much more fueled by passion and excitement about the plants and the gardens, and but now we've got people that help us with it, so that's the difference, I guess. So I would probably have got help sooner on that.
Yeah, that's a good lesson actually, because sometimes it can be a bit daunting bringing on the extra person or going for help somewhere.
Exactly.
Actually, it helps you to grow quicker because it gives you the time and the space to do what you love and grow your business rather than
exactly. And it's a little bit of a leap of faith, isn't it? You sort of have to let go of things. I think that's probably one of the biggest things I had to, just letting go of some of the things I do, especially the things I like doing, but I still have to let them go. So I think that's all
often easier said than done doing that.
Yeah, I try not to micromanage. I'm a work in progress. I think most business owners that you're attached to how things are done. But we have found that other people with different skills come in and do the same thing but slightly differently, and they mostly do them better because they've got a new.
Well, it's quite often part of growing a successful team is having the ability to let the team take the business further than you could do on your own. So having that sort of awareness to say, right, actually there are other ways of doing it. It's not just my way.
Yeah. So I'm learning as much as they are. Exactly. But yes, it's very much it's just realizing you can't do it all yourself, I guess.
And not putting too much pressure on yourself to get everything perfect first time round.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, a bit of perfectionist, and I've learned that things that I feel have to be perfect, the customers won't actually see the benefit of me spending the hours drawing every single petal on, for example. But they need to get a feel for what's the overall feel of how their garden's going to feel. So, and then that's something you learn over time as well, and the kind of people that you want to work with as well. It's very important.
So from a team perspective then, you've grown nicely over the years. I think you said you're around 12 team members at the moment. What sort of things have you done to try and make sure you get the right team members on board? What sort of things do you look for when you're recruiting?
Oh, that's a good question. It's all about the team dynamics, I think.
Okay.
So and how they fit in. So we've got 3 teams of landscaping boys at the moment, and they're the ones that are open to learning things, I guess, but they also need to have a little bit of a sense of humour, be good talking to the customers, because very often they're the first port of call when the work's been going on. So we manage the jobs and everything, and we're on the end of the phone, but it's the boys and their attitude to people's homes and stuff down the road. So it's not for not everybody has that kind of background. We do like to have people that know how to do certain things, and we would generally pick people, oh, we need somebody to help with this particular, who's got experience, for example, in bricklaying or patio laying. But also we recognise the people that want to grow, but they've not got all the experience yet. So there's a lot of putting the guys together that have got some skills that can help with grow the other skills. So I guess it's also if they turn up for interviews, always a good sign. I mean, that's a starting point. Their communication, so and their willingness to actually be outside. You know, it sounds like an obvious thing, but sometimes people don't realise how well it's actually quite a hard job. So it's getting really it's the dynamics of the team. If you get somebody who doesn't want to turn up regularly and do the thing, then we obviously need to make sure that.
So you're looking for some passion for what you do, some cultural fit in terms of aligning with your goals, the team's goals.
Exactly, yeah. And actually, yeah, it's a very rewarding job. People, when it's done, we try and make sure that it's done really well, and the customers love that. We have this sort of rule almost that we only work with nice customers, because we've learned over the years that it's nice for everybody to work in a nice working environment and with lovely people. And when they get the feedback from the customers and how wonderful it is, it's a really rewarding job. It's hard work, but it's also one of those jobs that you can see what you've done, and sometimes they don't get to see the planting because that's further down the line. So we always try and make sure that they can see how it started and how it finished once they've left as well.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because they might not be all like,
very often.
You go back and visit gardens sort of like 5 years later and sort of do this is what it's
try to. I used to try and contact them a lot, but then people get a little bit nervous because they think, oh, I haven't tidied up for a while. Sometimes. So we were. Some people offer it. We're very open to come back. So when they do, we take them up on it, but we don't like to pressure people because it's their space now.
Absolutely.
But if people are happy for us to, we love to, and we love to hear from them. Sometimes they send us pictures and say, "Looks great now. How about it? You know, this is 4 years on," kind of thing. And if they let us, we very love to put it on social medias and things like that. So it's just nice, and it's good for the boys and us to see how it's developing. So it's definitely good. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about time for a second then, because obviously you've got quite a lot going on. You know, you've got a few team members and things like that. So how do you manage as a business owner and as a busy entrepreneur? How do you manage your time?
Put quite a few hours in, really. I think you do need to have the passion, don't you? You have to really enjoy it.
What you do,
Because I go out and see new customers as well as doing the design side of it. At the moment, I'm thinking about getting a new designer to help me because I do all the design at the moment, and I feel like I've got stuff I can offer to a new designer coming out of college, etc., to the principals and things. So actually, that's probably the next step from that point of view. So that will help me a lot once they're trained. But also, I think I go out to networking. I do these. It's a juggle. But it's a fun juggle. I could do with teleporters or just being able to get from one place to the other, and maybe a clone machine occasionally, just so that I can.
Well, the world of Doom doesn't really help you with playing screens and things like
that. No, and actually, they were very weather dictated, obviously, in the kind of work we're in. So, for example, we've had a nice weekend now, so everybody's come and thought, oh, it's
all hands to the pump, and
very much so. So it's fun. If it wasn't fun, it would be awful. But it's you get to meet lots of interesting people, and drive around the beautiful countryside. I mean, we live in an amazing part of the
It's
world.
a lovely part of the world, isn't it?
Yeah. So and no two people are gardens are the same. So that's what keeps it fresh and fun. So
very good. Sounds exciting. So what about the future? What does the future hold for you guys? Where do you sort of see the business going, and what sort of things are you working on?
Well, we're just trying to help grow the business. It's still quite organically, so we don't want to suddenly grow huge and then not be able to look after people properly. So I think probably a couple more teams of guys, maybe a couple more gardening people, another design. But it's helping the business to sort of manage itself without us having to put quite so much input in. So it's developing the people in the business and helping them be able to make decisions and all that.
So sort of developing the business operating procedures and systems.
And we can always be more efficient. So we're always looking at what can we do that's more efficient, what works well for the customers, how can we keep the friendliness that we've built up. We're quite friendly and chatty, and we don't want to change any of that. But we also want to make sure everything is smooth as possible for people and these kind of things. So
get that balance right.
Just constantly trying to get it right, I guess, if you like. So
well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's always we're pursuing that sort of that perfection, and that perfection doesn't exist, but it's kind of that pursuit of perfection that kind of
there's certain bits that have to be right when you're building things. Obviously they need to be built correctly and to last. It's all very well throwing something into a garden, but making it so that it works well and it's good quality and it looks good for years to come you have to be quite a perfectionist and make sure it looks neat and tidy at the end. That's all. But then, like I say, there's certain bits we don't have to be quite so strict about with ourselves, I guess. I'd say it doesn't matter if somebody does something in a slightly different way to each other, as long as it does a good job.
The end result,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very true. That's really good. So if you could offer one piece of advice to your fellow business owners out there, to the listeners, what would be the best piece of advice you can give them?
I think it's that follow your instinct thing. If you know in your heart of hearts, something's a bit off, it doesn't matter what it is. It might be an event, it might be you're going to see a customer, you think it's something you're in your head, in your gut, you'll know there's something not quite true about something.
It's normally a sign.
It's a sign, and there's little red flags going off everywhere, and you go, no, it will be fine, and listen to them, because that's your sort of subconscious telling you that for some reason, just to take a breath and think, don't rush into things. Obviously don't labor the point if you know it's the right thing to do, but if you see something and you think, oh, I'm just going to have to make a rush decision here, it's not always the right thing if you don't feel right.
I think there's that little bit of reflection and taking a bit of space just to listen to your instincts, listen to your own thoughts, isn't there? Because quite often we can be too busy doing and actually taking the time just to think, is this the right thing or not?
Yeah, and I'm not reacting straight away to things, and just take a step back and go, okay, take a bit of breathing space. I'm lucky that I can drive between meetings, and very often it permeates and wanders around. So just taking a little bit of time, or even just a break, walk outside, come back. That's great advocate in that. It's taking a break and just
great advice.
Giving you helps with the stress as well, stops you getting overwhelmed. So
great advice. Well, listen, Cathy, thank you very much for sharing your story with us and some of the insights. Before we wrap up, where can our listeners go to find out a little bit more about what you guys are working on and how to get in touch if they want to?
Okay, so we are on Facebook, Wild Wonderful Gardens, and Instagram. So that shows you some of the things we're working on. We've also got a website, www.wildwonderful.co.uk. Or you can drop us an email or ring us on 01235 835 664. And we'll have a lovely chat with you about your garden. And we're occasionally on country shows, local shows as well. So all the details are on the website. So we're around the place, so we'd love to chat to anyone that's interested in getting a bit of inspiration, really.
Absolutely. Fabulous. Cathy, thank you again for your time. It's really good to talk to you.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been great.